Moon and emotions. That is going to be the subject of this video today. And how through moon you can not only find how your emotions work, but you can find a gateway to you and what you're all about. Now let me first start saying that this video, although it's somewhat related to astrology, it's also going to go into a much deeper rabbit hole of metaphysical subjects. So just be prepared for this. Moon, obviously everybody knows, has 28 phases in a month, from waxing moon to waning moon to new moon to full moon to no moon. And a lot of people say that based on the phases of the moon, our emotions are affected. So if there's no moon, then your emotions are just completely bleak. If there's full moon, your emotions are enhanced, whether good or bad. If it's a waxing moon, it means your emotions are kind of becoming positive. If it's a waning moon, your emotions are getting low. And I just want to ask, how many of you felt that? And the answer is most likely none of you, because this is not how moon really works, as most astrologers say, that just because our body is 80% water, and they use this analogy that the ocean's tide are affected by the moon because of the fact the moon's gravitational force affects the water, so that means the water inside the human body is also affected. Yes, it is affected, but you gotta know one thing. The brain is separate from the liquid from our body. The liquid may be affected. The water retention in our body may be affected. But the way we think, it really doesn't get affected. Because I have done this study. See, when I make this video, especially in astrology, I have tried these things, I've done these things. I've marked the calendar for a whole month. Okay? And I wanted to see how my emotion was every day. And to my knowledge, I had to do this because I knew I wouldn't be able to find this for the first month, so I did this in a 3-month period last year. And just today I realized, no, I should just make a video on it. But last year, when I did this 3-month-long experiment, on the full moon days, 2 out of 3 full moon days, I didn't feel anything. On the waning moons, I didn't feel anything. On the waxing moons, I might have felt depressed. No moon, I was actually more happy and motivated. Then the second full moon, I wasn't happy, I wasn't sad, I was just whatever. On the waning moon, I was more happy. Waxing moon, I was whatever. On the new moon, I was sad. On no moon, I was again happy. So my experiment kind of went to the opposite direction of what most people say. So moon is not necessarily affecting your thinking on day-to-day basis. Okay, that's number one. But moon is everything in astrology. So when you say, oh, my sun sign is Scorpio, and I'm very intense, I'm very sexual, I'm very goal driven, no, that's not who you are. That's your soul talking. And I know most of you are going to say, oh yeah, well, if soul is talking, then that must be it. No, because you know what, you don't know what you cannot touch your soul. Soul is untouchable, unreachable. You really don't know what the DNA of that soul is. Okay, that's why the astrology is there, to show you this is what the DNA of the soul is. But how do you think? What do you think when you deal with situations every day? What do you think when you're working in your office at home or at office? What are you thinking in your brain? You know where that comes from? That comes from the moon sign. The day you were born. Okay, so let's say you were born October 15th, 1979. Whatever sign moon was on that day. So let's say if the moon was in And I'm just giving an example. I really don't know. I haven't checked what day that moon was on October 15, 1979. But let's say if it was in the sign of Leo. Okay? This sets a personality for you, the way you think. You think in a very godly way. You think in a very show-offy, very flashy way. You love spending money. You love to have the finer things in life. You love to be the attention of the circle. That's who you are. Okay. Now, if your sun sign is Virgo, okay, and, well, I'm sorry, if it's an October born, so let's say your sun sign is Libra, that's completely opposite of what's moon in Leo is. Okay. So if you're a Libra sun and you feel like you have this flashy personality, you want to, just go out and show things to people. You love making your house lavishly decorated. You love having the flashy cars. You love being in front of the camera. That may be because of the fact your moon is in Leo. So sun is not what representing your thinking pattern. Okay? Sun is just shows where your heart is. What you really like at the end of the day. Before the end of the day, whatever you do is through the moon. That's how your emotions are set. So when I talk about moons and emotions, it's not the phases of the moon that goes on a month-to-month basis. Okay, it doesn't really affect you. Like I said, some might go through that exact same cycle as thousands of astrologers say on websites and on TV, and other half of you may go through nothing. So this is something I knew beforehand. I just wanted to experiment to see what I knew beforehand. Is that right or wrong? And pretty much it was right. Like, it's very random. Okay, on a full moon day you might feel sad. On a full moon day you might feel happy. On a full moon day you might have nothing, because like I said, full moon accelerates your emotions. So yeah, your sad and happy emotions can be accelerated, but when you don't have any feelings, you're just blah, that can also happen. And it doesn't mean it's being accelerated. I mean, you're not experiencing anything. But the most important in astrology is the moon. The moon represents your mind. It represents your mother. So let's say your moon is damaged in your horoscope. Okay, and this has happened 10 out of 10 times in my own experiment of reading other people's chart, that when moon was bad, in a badly position, like in Gemini or Scorpio or Capricorn, these people had really bad relations with their mother. Okay. So, and moon also represents the home. It represents the home life. Okay, so how your home environment is. And also obviously depends on your 4th house lord and who's in the 4th house. Maybe the moon is ruling the 4th house in your chart if you're an Aries ascendant, but moon represents 3 things. Okay, it represents your mindset, how you think. What do you think when you're sitting alone? What your plan is the moon, your emotions. Okay. Number 2, it represents your mother, your relationship with the mother. Number 3, it represents the home life. It's a signifactor of home life. So this is what moon is. And let's say if your moon is delineated in Scorpio or Gemini. Okay, I think Gemini is more damaging in a horoscope than Scorpio. Scorpio is a fixed sign. It has a fixed feminine sign. So when you have a moon in Scorpio, your relationship with your mother may be bad, but you might be a determined person. You're like, okay, I want to do this, I will do it. Where a moon in Gemini, okay, most of the entrepreneurs and most of the people with ADD have moon in Gemini, because moon in Gemini pretty much wants to do 20 things at the same time. They lose interest in things quickly. 1 minute they like this, the next minute they like that. And this is why in relationship too, most of the time they get into a relationship really quickly, they get bored of that person, then they leave, and then go to the other person. Okay, unless it's being aspected by Saturn or by Jupiter, the moon in Gemini will not be as settled. And this is why moon in Gemini is more, it's not damaging, because look, they have that entrepreneurial nature that, hey, I want to have like 10 businesses because I have this interest, and they do it. So let's say if you have a filmmaker who's a writer, director, editor, producer, he's even doing the color correction for the film. It's not, you can't blame that person saying that, oh, he's not a team player, or he's not getting other person's suggestions, and he can do this all by themselves. You know what? If it's a moon in Gemini, they can, because they are the masters of multitasking. Like there's a phrase for moon in Gemini that's saying, jack of all trades and master of none. And it's a positive thing that you can just know about everything. You don't need to just know about how to make wine. Okay, you'll know how to make wine. You'll know how to make beer. You'll know how to make margarita. You'll know how to cook steak. You'll do everything in the cooking world. But more people psychologically give more importance to a person who just makes wine for a career. Now your wine may be better, the Gemini moon, but let's say if a moon in Taurus, which is the exhalation point, and this person just sticks to one thing and masters that, they'll get more attention in life because they're so known for that one thing. Where people may not give you so much attention and praises because they'll be like, they're doing 10 different things. They really wouldn't care to know so much detail about winemaking. Let me go to this person. And that's what happens, where this is a kind of a dogma that moon in Gemini carries with itself. That they might do something perfect and might do it better than somebody else, but they don't really get recognized for that because of the fact the psyche of human is that they like sticking with the term professional, somebody who's doing one thing for a long time. They'll go for that. Where the moon in Gemini knows what the other person's doing and they can add more. But this is why it's a tough position to be in moon in Gemini. But again, it makes you very versatile. It makes you very communicative. So this is what moon is in astrology, and moon is in general thing. Now I have 3 minutes left. Another thing I want to talk about, because it's controversial, that moon is really not a natural phenomenon. Moon has not been here naturally. It wasn't formed because something hit Earth and the moon came to be. Okay, according to some scientific theories, which are not known to mainstream media, moon was actually planted on Earth. So this way you and I can exist. Moon is actually hollow from within. And moon transmits this subliminal energy, this invisible energy that keeps this veil in front of our eyes. Yeah, I don't know if you've, I'm sure you have seen the movie Matrix, where they keep you asleep, yet you're living a life, and you think this is real. It's not. The moon is transmitting some sort of a mysterious energy that is keeping us from seeing what the real world is. And it's a bit controversial, and it's a bit, offbeat from this moon and emotion theory, but it makes a lot more sense when you conjoin these two things that I just talked about. That moon is very important. It controls your emotions, because why? It's controlling your emotions. Moon was brought here for us, whether it was by Anunnakis or by somebody else. And this is why NASA hasn't been able to go back to the moon for 40 years, because there is an entity on the moon that does not allow NASA to come there. When NASA went for the first 3-4 times, they did not allow them. Now, you may think of this as hogwash and something just completely controversial and off the air, but sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. And this is why astrology is not of human origins either, and neither is our moon. So just remember. Next, and why is it that moon is the only planet that is locked to our Earth, while all the other moons are spinning around other planets, while our moon just sticks, does not spin, and it's just locked in the Earth, and it goes, so we never see the other side, where the other side is even more important than the front that you see. Alright, check out the link below. You'll find more answers on the moon. Thank you.